2019 World Open. I'd like to introduce the officials. The referee for the match, R.V. Ganesh from India. The marker for the match, Mr. Darren Taylor from New Zealand. Okay, the players. Mr. David Causier from England. And his opponent, Mr. Dhvaj Haria from India. Okay, the match will be 90-minute duration. I'll hand you over to the referee to get the match underway. All the best.
stop taking photos of me taking photos, people. It's not a good look. Put them down. Unless you're photographing me, bum. Here we go. Big smile, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Both of you swing, then we can have two shots like this. Match. Dhvaj, and you have to start with a white ball. Two. Eight.
Hello everyone and welcome to the final of the World Open Billiards at the RACV Club here in Melbourne, Australia. We're watching the opening skirmishes of this fascinating battle between Dhvaj Haria from India and David Causier from England, who've won their way through to this final today with some stellar billiards against some of the best billiards players in the world. The opening skirmishes in this game have just gone Dhvaj's way, and he's got himself in with the first break of the game. Just setting himself up for a top of the table position in 3 or 4 shots. We've had some wonderful billiards here the last 2 days here at the RACV Club and also at the Yarraville Club. David Causier in the final tonight made a 655 break yesterday. Incredibly, that was in a 45-minute match. Dhvaj Haria has come through a pretty tough side of the draw to reach the final here. At 25 years of age, he's one of the real up-and-coming stars on the billiard scene, and he's a frequent visitor to Australia. He's been here half a dozen times to play in the Australian Open and the Pacific International. But this is probably the best result he's had in Australia so far to reach the final of this tournament. He's just lost position here by leaving the red short on the previous in-off, and he's just now having to play some catch-up billiards to try and establish his position. But he's lost the white there, so he'll be playing safe shortly and just trying to put the balls behind the baulk line to leave them safe for his opponent. So that's a very good safety. He's got the red into baulk. Just beautiful touch, and he's left his white in a safe position near the top cushion. So this event, the Reed Furniture World Open Billiards, is being played in Australia for the first time. It's the warm-up event for the World Billiards Championship, which starts tomorrow here at the RACV City Club in Melbourne. And tremendous opening shot there by Dhvaj, potting a long red. That's really a snooker shot, but he's played that beautifully. Unlucky that for him that he's finished on the cushion, leaving himself a difficult shot next up. I think we've got a safety shot coming up here. Just putting the balls out of position for David Causier. David Causier coming to the table now. Not only did he make 655 yesterday in the round robin section of the tournament, he's won his way through to the final here with a 327 break in the quarter-final against Ryan Mears. That was trumped in the quarterfinals by Dhvaj, who had a 398 break against Peter Gilchrist. So very good win there by Dhvaj against Peter Gilchrist in the last 8, because in the last 16 Peter Gilchrist from Singapore made a break of 522, which is the second highest break. So far in this tournament, we're only in the second day, and already we've had 2 big breaks over 500, plenty of others over 300 as well. So some great billiards being played here. Dhvaj came through by beating Peter Gilchrist 593 to 391 in the quarterfinal, and in the semi-final a very strong win against 18-time world champion Mike Russell. Dhvaj's breaks in that match were 264, 136 and 110. He won that 665 to 336. And David Causier had a comfortable win in the quarterfinals against Ryan Mears, 695 to 293 with a 327 and 120. And in the semi-final he accounted for the Australian number 1, an 18-time Australian champion Matthew Bolton, 725 to 233 with 100, 186 and 164. So very, very solid break making by these two great players. Contrasting styles between these two. Dhvaj is an elegant classical left-hander. Very, very beautiful soft touch around the top of the table. David Causier is a wonderful player at all aspects of the game, but perhaps his strength is in his recovery shots and his willingness to as he says, chase the balls around the table until they turn up into a good position. But he's a wonderful break builder with a high break of over 800 and 3 world championships to his name. So definitely one of the big favourites for the World Championship here this week. So he's just having a little pause for thought here, David. Perhaps undecided as to what shot to play. He's just playing a very nice little gathering shot there to bunch the balls together on the side cushion with a view to popping the white towards the spot and just trapping the red where he can work on that. Didn't quite get the jaw on the red that he would have liked. He had to go in off it, but nonetheless, no trouble. He's got both balls in the open with a choice of a long in off the white into the top pocket or in off the red into the middle pocket. And the general principle in billiards is you play the longer ball first because you have less control over where the object ball goes, and then having done that, you play the easier shot into the middle pocket, and then you can position that ball more precisely, which is exactly what David's doing here. And now he's got these balls nicely for a cannon position, which will just bring the balls together at the top of the table. Yeah, he's played that very nicely, landing on the outside of the red, bringing the white down near the spot, and getting in nice and close at the top of the table in good position.
$28. 30. 33. 35. 37. 39.
He's quite a fast player, David Causier. He doesn't take a lot of time to sight the shot. And with the way the balls are running at the moment, his scoring is relatively slow because he's playing open billiards. But when he gets down to the top of the table, he's capable of scoring very rapidly at around about 5 minutes for 100 points. And that's evidenced pretty well by his 522 in a 45-minute match yesterday,
48.
which is going at about around about 7 minutes to 100.
$51. 54. 56. 59. 62.
Got some beautiful camera angles here from our producer Dan Lynch from Cue Ball TV, who is just here constantly monitoring the stream, making sure that he's bringing you, the viewer, the best possible view, close up where possible of what the players are doing in this intricate and delicate game of billiards.
70. 72.
David has just not quite got the position he wanted then. He, instead of potting the red, he was forced to go in off it and push it back up towards the centre of the table, but no drama. He'll just pot this in the side and then run back down to the top of the table.
80. $83. 85.
Same again this time. He hasn't quite got straight enough on the red, so he's just played a thin screwing off that one. He might have hit that a little bit hard. It's getting a little bit close to the baulk line, but no. Beautiful touch by David there, and he's just left that a few centimetres outside the baulk line, and once again he'll pop this on the side and run back down towards the top of the table.
$91. 93.
And again, he wasn't quite able to leave that red for a pot, but no problems at all. Just take it up again to the middle of the table, and this time he'll use the middle pockets to correct the position of the red. Leave a cannon and gather both balls down in the top part of the table. The applause you just heard there was his 100 break, the first century of the final, but I can assure you it won't be the last. These guys can really pour it on when they get going. That's a very good shot.
106.
Very good shot there by David to leave it nice and off the white there, and he continues on his merry way.
108. 110. 113. 116. 118.
Difficult position David's left himself here with the three balls lined up along the top cushion. He might just have enough of an angle to be able to... Oh, not sure what happened then. I think he played a cushion first shot then, but didn't catch it right. So a lovely 121 break there by David gives him first blood in the final. Oh, this could be a stroke of luck here for Dhvaj Haria. He has missed it in off, caught the draw and just come back to complete a cannon worth 2 points. So a stroke of luck there, and he's actually left himself in quite a reasonable position to continue on. Quite straightforward cannon off 2 cushions there, pushing the white up the table and then leaving himself a pot red. Just gone a little bit far on that one, but no problems at all. He'll be able to go in off this red and bring the red in and out of baulk. It's what's called a forcing shot, bringing the red up and down the spots on the centre line of the table, which he's done perfectly. And as long as the red is on that centre line, there's in almost any position there's a shot on. Very pretty short Jenny there by Dhvaj, just bringing the yellow out into play more towards the centre of the table. And now he's going to play a cannon towards the red. A couple of different ways of playing this,
14.
and he's just got a bit full on the red there, leaving himself either a very thin in off the white or possibly a run through off the yellow, I mean. We'll see what he does. Yeah, it's just run through that slowly, trying to hold that ball out of balk. Beautiful touch there by Dhvaj. It's just stopped a couple of centimetres outside the balk
16.
line. Our referee for the final here tonight is R.B. Ganesh from India. He's one of a number of visiting referees that we have here, both from overseas and from interstate, as well as our own Victorian referees, of course. We've got referees from Ireland, from England, from Scotland, from India, from New Zealand, and for most of the other states here in Australia. We've got one referee from China who's filling in here. All the visiting referees are staying here at the RACV club, as are the players. It's a beautiful venue, not just for billiards, with its magnificent billiards room, 8 beautiful antique all-cock tables, but also it's a wonderful venue if you're staying here or if you're visiting the club. It has accommodation, 130 rooms, a variety of dining options here in the club. There's half a dozen different restaurants, ranging from fine dining to very casual dining. And if you're in Melbourne over the next few days, you should come down to the RACV club in 501 Burke Street in the city and have a look at the billiards. It's really a sight worth to see. We've got the top players in the world are all here, competing this week for the John Roberts Trophy, the oldest World Championship trophy in existence. It's been around since 1870. Older than the claret jug for the British Open golf. It's older than the Wimbledon trophies. So make a beautiful silver trophy dating from 1870, which is here at the RACV club on display. It's the first time it's left the United Kingdom to come out here for the championship this year, and it's really been a coup for the organisers to be able to get that beautiful trophy out here. So pretty quick scoring here by Dhvaj. It seems he's only been at the table for a couple of minutes and already he's up to 82. As I said before, beautiful left-hander. He's got lovely touch, especially around the top. His screw shots are really beautiful. If you watch how he cues on this shot, he's right behind the cue. His cue goes straight through, and he's just got himself into position for a cannon here. Not quite the position he would like, but it's a good position nonetheless. Just didn't quite go how we'd have wanted that one, but nonetheless, he's just got a little soft screw cannon here, which he'll play to leave and then either off the red or the yellow.
51.
This is a pretty shot here, screw shot with strong right-hand side, spinning the ball along the side cushion and just turning into the pocket. He made a fool of me then because he played it with left-hand side, not right-hand side. Just doing that for positional purposes to throw the yellow a little bit wider. Yeah, come on, get in. Is it there? Oh.
57. 60.
So Dhvaj Haria passing at 100. What's he on? He's on 60. Okay.
Hi, Peter Tankard here, joining the fun.
Welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Dave.
How's your week been?
Well, I think you know, you've been here. Pretty much the same as yours. 1-1 match, lost 3.
Yep, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
When you're playing against these top liners.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Yeah. Who do you fancy in this final here, Peter?
Well, I actually did call this final earlier in the day.
I do recall that.
Because
yeah.
I get a bit of a sense that we're at a time in billiards where there is a changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
Causier's kind of intergenerational. He's not 10 years younger than perhaps Gilchrist and Russell, but not quite as young as the youngest young guns. Well, it wasn't a kick, it was a miscue.
Yeah.
It was a miscue.
Okay, so nice 64 there from Dhvaj. Just came unstuck on a miscue. It just shows that can happen to even the best of players.
This
Pretty
is
little slow screw there. Ooh,
it just got ugly.
I think he got a bit lucky actually.
It won't matter. He's so good at creating things.
He is. He's so creative.
He's pushed that a little far.
This is no snack.
But none of that worries him.
Yeah, he's just hit that beautifully. That wasn't an easy shot, that.
No.
It wasn't a square screw. He actually had to bring that back and just pulled up a little bit short of perfect, but still an eminently recoverable position. Oh, I do that.
Yep, that's ugly.
That's
now.
what I
That's
do.
officially ugly.
That's right.
Before it was just difficult, now it's officially ugly.
I think.
But what are you thinking? 2 cushion cannon, 3 cushion
I think
cannon?
he plays safe, actually.
You're right.
Yes, with that previous shot, I'm sure that David was trying to push the red down over the right-hand top pocket, but he's just caught it a bit too full and put it into no man's land. And Dhvaj has got an option here. He can play safe, but he's got quite an inviting cannon, which he's gone quite close to, but not quite close enough. But however,
The way
in
he's
playing
left
that
it.
shot, he's left the yellow on the ball cushion, so a bit of a shot to nothing really, and it's no good chance. David's decided to have a bit of a lash at that again.
Have you seen the way he tilts his
close
head as the
match.
ball goes round the
Yeah,
angles?
he does. Yeah, it's fascinating to watch really.
Well,
This is the first time I've seen him play
really?
in person here in Melbourne. You, Peter, have been over around the world watching billiards for the last 3 years, so you've seen David play plenty of times. But it's always interesting to see, a new top-class player.
He is a force of nature.
Yeah. Oh, look at this for a beautiful shot, will you? What a beautiful shot.
Lovely
Thick
shot.
one through his strong side, along the ball cushion to bring the white out into the yellow out into a beautiful position.
And that even got a reaction from the normally taciturn Causier.
Yes.
So how old is Dhvaj now? I think he's
25.
25, yeah.
And David?
I'm going to say 37, 38.
Okay. Younger than he looks then.
Yeah, he's like a generation behind that cohort that was Chris Shutt, Peter Gilchrist, Mike Russell, Lee Largan,
Yep.
those Middlesbrough boys.
Rocky Chapman fit into that group.
I think he's more. I think Roxton was a little younger than Peter and Mike, so somewhere in between them. But I mean, these guys are all products of the Teesside Boys League. One stage, I think the last World Championship in the UK. 3 of the 4 semi-finalists were from the town of Middlesbrough.
Right.
Population 100,000.
Yep.
And to get there, they had eliminated some 20 Indians.
Yep.
Population 1.1 billion.
Yeah.
So it just shows you the value of coaching from an early age and the sharing of shots. This is a game that's built on knowledge and passed down, master to apprentice, father to son sometimes, over a long period of time. And that Middlesbrough cohort is just unbelievable. They've won everything.
I've been to Middlesbrough to see billiards actually, Peter, in the 70s actually. I went to the Western Social Club in Middlesbrough to see the semi-finals and finals of the English Amateur.
Oh, really?
The English Amateur was won by Bob Close, a great player from Middlesbrough.
Oh, he was also Middlesbrough, wasn't he?
Yeah. He lived actually just nearby Middlesbrough, but he played in at the Western Social Club. I think he was from Redcar. And I saw some great players of that era playing. Alf Nolan was playing. Herbert Beetham made the semi-final there.
And he won a World Amateur
He won a World Amateur
didn't he?
in 1960, yeah. And Bobby Close won, I think, his first English Amateur because he knocked off Norman Dagley, who was winning everything in those days.
And was Mark Wildman from Middlesbrough as well?
Mark Wildman. I haven't met Mark Wildman. I'm not sure. I don't think he is. No, I think he's from the south. But I could be wrong there. I really
Jack
don't
Carnham
know.
was London, wasn't he?
Yeah. So we're just seeing Dhvaj now. He's reaping the fruits of that beautiful run through and off that he played. He's in absolutely perfect position here, and he really has got a beautiful touch at the top of the table. He's a very, very fine player, and
well, he's got the high break today at 399, and his opponent had the high break yesterday with 665 or 55.
38.
not quite right, Peter, because Peter Gilchrist got a 522 today in the last 16,
corrected.
and Mike Russell got a 520 in that round here. But those matches were played
So
in the morning.
wrong twice.
Yeah. But that's not, you're not always wrong, Peter. You're not
Less than
you're,
right.
You're not ever wrong. You're not. Yeah.
Can I just say I was poorly advised by Simon Fortune, who's standing behind me. I operate off the advice of others here, David, and I can't be held responsible for anything that comes out of my mouth.
So here's Dhvaj going along beautifully. He's pushed the white onto the top cushion now in the perfect postman's knock position. But these days people don't like to play too much postman's knock. It was very popular in other times. Bob Marshall, the great Australian champion, was a proponent of postman's knock. And some of the great Indians have been proponents of postman's knock, but
Geet Sethi
being a prime example. But these days, with the balk line rule, which we aren't playing in this event, postman's knock has tended to go out of favour because it's far more difficult to play that form under the balk line crossing rule.
And so also I think they're breaking down too often with tight covers on the second object ball.
Nah, the great postman's knock players never got covers. So what they do now is when they get it on the top cushion, their first aim is to try and knock it away and just get it back up a little bit closer towards the spot. So you watch Dhvaj here in a couple of shots, he'll be trying to just knock the yellow ball, 5 or 6 inches away. Beautiful straight screw back there, bringing his cue ball back off the side cushion for another little cannon. He's just grazed that. Oh no, missed it. Okay, that was a pretty delicate shot, that. And nice break there from Dhvaj. He's just leading by about 40 points in this 90-minute final, so we've got about an hour to go, and anybody's game, of course, at this early stage. We've had some good crowds in here this week, Peter, and this is probably the biggest crowd that we've had for the final here.
Well,
Dan
I can't get a seat down there, and
okay, so Dan Lynch might just
to have come early.
pan around and show us the audience sitting here at the RACV watching this match.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, a lot of excitement here in the RACV club for this event being here. The members have really got behind the event. They've been buying tickets. They've been coming along to watch. A lot of them are playing in the event. There's probably half a dozen RACV club members, including the resident professional here, Robbie Falvari, who have played in the event. And you just got a snippet of the crowd there. We've got seating installed on 4 sides of this table. We can fit a nice crowd of about 60 or 70 people down in the pit area, and another 30 or 40 watching from a slightly higher area on the side of the table. Yeah, quite a good crowd up there in that area too. So we've probably got 50 or 60 watching this match. And of course, when we get into the serious stuff with the world,
another miscue.
Well, I just think he got a double kiss there, Peter.
No, he got a miscue, Dave.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So good. Thanks, Dan. Good shots of the crowd there. A few empty seats, but that was a surprise, I have to say.
3.
So
Now, you wouldn't see 2 miscues in a game of billiards.
well, depends
typically,
who's playing, Peter. If you and
If
I are
I'm
playing,
well, I did
there's plenty of
miscue.
miscues.
I did miscue against Robbie. But I mean, at this standard, it's pretty unusual.
Yeah. Look at that wonderful
Pace
pace
control.
control. They took the words right out of my mouth there, Peter. He's
No, that's David.
Ten.
No,
13.
just left himself slightly out of position there, but played a beautiful recovery shot. A couple of thin cannons here. And that's a beautiful shot. Just nudged that. He may play a thin cannon here. Might end up playing 3 of these. That's beautiful.
19.
Each time he's just spreading these balls a little bit further apart until eventually he'll leave himself a shot that isn't quite so thin and enable him to get on the red to pot it, and that's what he's done now. So very nice little sequence there from Dhvaj from a quite tricky position. He didn't try and recover position in one shot. He knew before he even started that it would take 3 thin cannons to recover his position, and he's done that. And Peter, you're staying here at the RACV this week?
fantastic.
Yeah, wonderful.
Only because you made it mandatory, David. No, it's been fantastic. We've had universal acclaim for the rooms. Some people, I think, have reported this is the best place they've ever stayed in. So,
yeah, I think that's very, very pleasing for us to hear. There's no doubt that this is a wonderful club. I have to say I'm a member here, but you know, the reason I'm a member is it is such a wonderful club. And,
so you're not like Groucho Marx then?
yes. No.
Who famously said,
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to be a member of any club that'll have me.
Yes.
30.
So there's a good opportunity here for Dhvaj Haria to establish a bit of a lead, and in this game he's got himself in here. He'll want a jaw here, just to. No, he didn't quite get the jaw he would have liked.
Jaw.
Yeah, that would be on. But I don't think he'll worry about that. He's a wonderful long straight potter, and he'll actually be looking to screw this back. If I'm any judge, yeah, he'll need to screw it back about 6 inches or so to get the position he wants. Difficult shot that, and he wasn't able to pull it off.
Looks like there's a pause. While David goes out to regroup.
Okay, so that's good. That Dan is just showing us, our producer Dan Lynch is just showing us a crowd shot there of pretty good turn up.
Nine. Living.
Okay, we've resumed after that little pause. David Pitt with you in commentary, with Dhvaj Haria leading 208 to 169. And I'm joined in commentary by Alex Kay, who's a member here at the RACV Club. Welcome, Alex.
Having me, and it's nice to be able to come up here and get a different perspective on the game.
Yeah, that's great. So you've been here all week, Alex, watching the matches?
I have. I've just come back from playing over the other side at Yarraville and enjoyed that, but now we're watching the good players, and it's a very interesting match so far.
It is, yeah, it is. There's been some great...
what is the score?
Some great billiards so far up here. So
26.
David Causier back in, just bridging the gap now. There's only about 20 points of difference. So with 46 minutes to go, we're at the halfway mark of this match, and obviously with the score so close, it's anybody's game. So the next 20 minutes or so will really tell the story of this match. David's left himself a less than ideal position here. He's playing a screw cannon. Didn't quite get the red full as he would have liked, but he's got a bit of a lucky kiss there. It was like when I played you yesterday, Alex. You know all about lucky kisses.
Like that, yeah.
Because I got all of them.
Got a bit of luck, but that's what the game's about.
Yeah,
and, you know, when these players that they generally do have their luck like a lot of other people, but they just seem to be able to manipulate that ball around to, as he's done here, and it's a beautiful shot.
So Horace Lindham said that billiards is 50% skill, 25% nerves, and 25% luck. And you know, sometimes it feels when you're playing that it's more like about 90% luck, but that's not really the case. So. Nice little shot by David, a touch shot.
Nice drop cannon.
Just dropping the... just dropping the red...
that over, not quite where he wanted it, but he's still in good shape there to create a in off the red, and then drop cannon after that. Not quite.
So I haven't been out in the room, Alex, but it looks like there's a pretty good crowd in there. They're watching. Must be 60 or so people out there having a look at the game at the moment.
That's right. They're enjoying themselves as much as I am, and it's a pleasure to watch these people play. It really is. But the amount of time that they put in to get to the level that they've got to is just immense. And I think David actually... he practices something like 3 hours a day.
It's interesting, David. He's got a full-time job as a bar manager. I think his family's in the hotel business. And he goes to practice in the morning on his way to work. So he puts in a couple of hours practice each morning before he goes to work.
Yes, and he's out every morning practicing, from what I understand. That's right.
Yeah, well, that's the number of hours you need to put in to get good at this game is like most sports, you have to put in the hours to reap the reward. He's just got a nice little break there where the white ball didn't go in. He's going to try and play a shot to rescue it here. He's knocked it. It's very difficult to keep that one out as it was so close to the pocket. He's now actually got a bit of a problem because it's a little bit narrow to me.
He's still got a shot on there.
That's
bring it up over balk and
that's beautiful, to bring it into balk.
Double balking now and make it very hard for him.
Yeah. Okay, so that little break of 62 there, it's just put David Causier in front, 43 minutes to go, and advantage Causier in the sense that Dhvaj has to make a decision as to what to do here, whether he just plays safe with his ball or tries to attack his double balk and score off it. There's no obvious shot that he can play to score here. His best hope might be just to try and disturb the balls, because David's left himself a very simple position to pot the red or play a fine and off.
Can I have a go?
I think he's just going to try and knock the yellow into the corner. He hit it quite hard. So he's that's a bad result, because David's got a simple in off, and now the white is out in the open for him to for him to develop. Just slightly awkward here using the long rest and the extension on his cue, but it was a straightforward shot. He was just able to knock that in, bring the red out into play, and we'll see how he develops this from here. One of the interesting things about billiards, Alex, is that there's, as you know, there's such a variety of shots. He's got about 6 or 7 shots that he could play here, and different players have different choices as to what they might do. So he's elected to follow that in. That's a nice shot, because now it sets himself up for a drop cannon to bring himself back straight back down to the top.
Hopefully we get back in the top of the table with that shot, and he's got a reasonable result out of that.
He's got a good result there, going on to the onto the far side of the red, but he's left both balls in front of him, which is what you always want to do, and he's got this nicely.
Play the cross loser. Brought it in good position for a in off. He'll bring it up and down the table.
So it's wonderful for everybody here in Melbourne to be able to come along and watch this billiards here at the RACV club, but it doesn't just happen. It's a result of a lot of support from different groups. The RACV club itself is right behind the championship, offering the use of their room for the games, the opportunity for the players and referees to stay here at the club. That they're supporting us in terms of functions and in other ways. And of course our sponsors have really given tremendous support to the event. Reed Furniture, the sponsor of the naming rights sponsor of the World Open, and other sponsors that I'll mention in a minute.
I was just having a chat with someone today about what the RACV have done, and their promotion of the Q Sports. It's been terrific. Ideally, I think this is something that maybe could be looked at down the track, that maybe get this event over here in a 3 or 4 year period and have it. It's something to think about.
It definitely is. You're getting a bit ahead of yourself there, Alex, but yeah, definitely. This is such a great venue. All the players have been full of praise for the accommodation and the playing conditions. As I was saying just before, it's our sponsors that have enabled it to do them. Sport and Recreation Victoria, the Victorian government, has been a major sponsor of the event.
That's right.
The RACV club, of course, the naming rights sponsor here, Reed Furniture, Endeavour Life Care, who are the sponsors of the World Billiards Championship, which follows on from this World Open. Just got 2 straight here, David, and he's going to have to play. That's a really nice shot. That's a difficult shot to play that screw shot off the top cushion, but being the top throw that he is, he's made it look easy.
Play a run through.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
It's not too bad, because he's just himself and in off the white, so that's actually not as bad as it should be. Referee R.B. Ganesh just bringing the red back down and putting it on the spot. He's enjoying himself. He's having a ball out here from India, staying in this first-class accommodation and watching first-class billiards all day with the best seat in the house. Of course, the referee does have the best seat in the house. He sees everything that the players are doing.
Yes, it certainly is the best seat in the house, isn't it? You can sit here and you can look at the different angles. And
he's right behind the player, so we can see up close exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to learn the game. That's how I started. I was recommended when I was young and starting in the game. They said, "Oh, you should do some refereeing, try and referee for the top players, and you'll learn a lot."
Well, I hope everyone out in YouTube land is enjoying our commentary tonight.
No, here we are on the World Billiards YouTube channel. Can we see a count of our viewership at the moment, Dan? Okay, yep, so 130 tuning in. Let's not forget it's very early in the morning in the UK, so a few people probably watching billiards while they have breakfast.
I'm quite sure there will be. They'll be enjoying it. They're very proactive on the billiards over there. Certainly like to see it get to that stage here in Australia.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But he's working that up nicely now into the top of the table, and he's just got himself an ideal position for pot, and then he can start working the ball for the cannon and keep top of the table. He's got a beautiful position there.
77.
Just knocking the white slightly off centre there, which is the preferred position for these top players of top of the table. They don't want to have the object ball directly in line with the red. They just like it to be an inch or two either side of that line, which just makes the floating white game feasible.
83. 85.
He's still keeping that good position, and with the white over as far as it is now, he's just got a little bit of room that he can work that back possibly. He's
just
pushed
try
it out
and knock it up there.
It's just pulled up. The amount of side he had on that just to maintain that shot where it did it.
Bit of
It's
top
wonderful.
spin as
Bring
well,
it
I
out and
think.
about.
95.
There we go.
Alex.
$97.
Just pushing the white off the top cushion there to leave it in off. A couple of slow shots. It'll take you another 3 or 4 shots to bring these back to
He's on a 97 break now.
to the top of the table. 99. That's the 100.
There's a big crowd at the moment too out there watching.
Yes.
It's
I
just
think that's David's second century of the match. Gives him a lead now of just over 100, and
yes,
pretty handy
101.
time to be doing it with 34 minutes left in the game. You know, another even another 50 or so, but certainly another 100 would start to make it very difficult for Dhvaj to get back into this game. So
He's certainly building a good momentum now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got the balls exactly where he wants them, nicely controlled. Drop cannon coming up. In off the wide if he needed to. He's not in any great trouble there, and bring the red right over the other side. Lovely pot. Shot, but counter play in off there, up and down again. Up over the centre.
17.
It's gone a little bit too far past the centre pocket. But, play along Jenny. The game he played before against Matthew Bolton, he had in 3 visits to the table, he had 3 shots at long Jennies and missed each one of them.
That's incredible, Alex, for these top liners. They would usually miss about 1 long Jenny a month. So
that's right.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Right.
So it's just
Playing on these tables has been an absolute eye-opener. We, as pennant players and other games we play in the Australian Open and Pacific International, the tables, the cloths aren't as quick and the cushions aren't as quick, and you have to adjust very, very quickly to the conditions. And a lot of players that are coming in there and having a match will struggle with it, but a lot of the overseas players don't have that issue because they're playing on those conditions every time, just about that they're playing.
Well, that's not quite right, but they have been full of praise for for the conditions here at the RACV, which the tables here are maintained, of course, by Alcox, another of our most important sponsors, who have looked after the tables here at the RACV Club for 115 years, and they do a beautiful job of setting up the tables for championship players. We've seen with the big breaks that have already been made in only 2 days, highlighted by 622 by David Causier yesterday, a 655 and a 522 by Peter Gilchrist today. So another 500 by Mike Russell. So they're already early days, but they're pounding in some pretty big breaks here. And we expect to see plenty more of it with the World Championship, which starts tomorrow, Tuesday, and runs through until Saturday.
I'm quite sure there'll be a lot of people out looking at that tomorrow. There'll be some wonderful matches coming up. There's some very fine talent from around the world. There's a lot of players from different parts. And they're going to have some pretty tough competition, these guys. Pretty tough competition. You're playing, aren't you?
I am playing tomorrow, yes. My first opponent is David Causier.
Well, we're watching him now, so I think he might have his measure.
I'm hoping he might be a bit tired after tonight, because I think we're on at 10 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. Well, I know what's going to happen there, but nonetheless, I'll enjoy the game. It's always fantastic to play against these top liners. You can enjoy those games just as much as playing against a lesser player. And it's a thrill to play against a world champion. A thrill that's not really possible in other sports. You can't just rock up and get a game against Roger Federer. And you can't play cricket against Steve Smith and Pat Cummings. But the ordinary club player, by entering in some of these tournaments, can actually get a game with the world champion. And I've played 2 or 3 of them in a time.
Welcome back to Peter Tankard. He's come in for a visit and is watching what's going on as well.
174.
And he's now on a 174 break, and he's got very, very good control of the ball at the moment. And
177.
he's doing exactly as he wants.
So highly likely, with this break building as it is, up now to 177, that this is going to be the match-winning break. It's starting to get towards the point now where time will become a bit of an issue for Dhvaj, but just as importantly, he's got a bit of an issue about getting on the table and scoring some points, because David isn't going to be giving up this table easily.
Absolutely. He's just controlling that very, very nicely at the moment. Beautiful control.
Can you just hit mute for a second? Just hit the mute button.
Oh, it's not on.
That's it. We'll just go off there.
192. $195. 197.
Go out now and have a look at it in person. See what's going on. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yes, I'm back in commentary because I can't actually get near the table. There's people everywhere.
Welcome again, Peter Tankard, joining us again.
It's a better view here, David.
It's a great view here. It's a wonderful view. We've got 3 monitors in front of us, so we can see the view from each of the cameras. There's nobody standing in our way. 201 out for Causier, so a really solid break in the middle part of this game.
Yep.
Just
It's where a lot of matches are won, isn't it? In the beginning of the second half, he went to the toilet about halfway through, and whether that was the call of nature or regrouping his thoughts, we can't know. But he's come back firing on all cylinders.
211.
Got such a lovely pace control on that drop cannon, but I think it's because he hits it so accurately.
$216. 219.
Great curious, David. He's got
221.
wide range of shots and great cue ball control, and he's not afraid to give them the tonk. Give them a tonk if the situation
He does
demands
give
it.
them a tonk. He's giving them less of a tonk now than he used to.
So thanks
But,
for chatting along, Peter. It's been great to be here, and I'm now going to hand over to Grant Medley to just give us some expert insights into the game of billiards. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Dave. Cheers.
231.
If you're wondering how long it takes to develop this expertise, the answer is several decades. They say it's a 20-year apprenticeship, but in fact, David is practicing every day at his local steel mill. He's allowed to use the workers' club, the steel mill workers' club, as a practice table, and he puts in 2 hours every morning between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. before the workers arrive, and that's his home table. And I understand he maintains it
245.
and recloths it as necessary. Joined by Grant Medley, who won the plate event today, I've just heard.
Good evening, Peter. Yes, I did. It was a
Well done, Grant.
fantastic day at the Yarraville Club. Played Josh Burns in the final. Josh had a fantastic day out there at Yarraville. He had
Had
a
140.
140 break, and in his next match he had a 98 break and covered himself. So Josh was in fine form. I think the nerves got to him in the final. It was a crucial match for him.
255.
You got a little more experience. He's only 21, I think.
Yeah, early 20s, Josh, and he's making great improvement in the game, and he's consistently knocking into the 100 breaks now. So
He seems to have lost that stutter that he had in his cue action.
yeah, look, it is evident every now and then with certain shots, but he's definitely got rid of the old yips, and he's fast improving, Josh.
Well, he could still hit the ball. I mean, it was a strange cue action, but he was still able to hit the ball. But it was a definite stutter on the delivery, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I think that creeps into everyone's game every now and then. But for Josh, he's definitely got it under control, and he's compiling some decent breaks now, which is good to see.
A demonstrable shake of the head by David when he looked at that red, just didn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave's obviously been in devastating form this last few days, and he's continued in the final. And
He can't decide on this
No.
one. He's really agonising about it. He's usually such a first sighter and a quick thinker.
yeah,
Oh, I mean, that wasn't an easy shot. He had to calculate exactly the right amount of pace and stun on that. Hasn't worked out perfectly, but he's very creative.
yeah, he's probably the most creative player on the circuit, I dare say. He's very unorthodox, and he gets the balls atop his own way.
And doesn't feel like he has to slavishly keep them there.
No, that's it.
Oh, it's just checked up.
So the break is 266 with 22 minutes left.
Devastating with 22 minutes left. Now, it's still theoretically possible,
It
isn't
is,
it,
yeah.
Grant? We've got 270 in the difference. If you score at 6 minutes 20 seconds a top, it's still theoretically possible, but it gets harder and harder. More pressure goes on, you're behind, you have to make every shot.
Yeah, but Dhvaj, such a cool and calculated character. If he gets the balls to top there, he does score quite quickly. So Dhvaj will be looking to get to top fairly soon with a 270 deficit. You might see his pace pick up here as he tries to get his rhythm going.
And recoup the large deficit.
Yeah. Very tall character, Dhvaj. He's got the longest legs I've ever seen on a human being. He's all leg and he's got a fantastic loose grip.
I'm told he's 6'5". I think Peter Gilchrist has 1/4 of an inch on him.
Yeah,
They did a back-to-back measure, didn't they? And you were in that.
I was in that measurement. Yeah, we had a back-to-back measurement at the.
And you were 6'4".
I'm just a touch under 6'4", and yeah, Dhvaj just pipped me by an inch, and then obviously the giant that is Mr. Gilchrist, towering 6'6".
Yep. Huge advantage to be able to reach past the blue spot. I'm not sure that you guys even know what a rest is.
It is, Peter. I won't make any short jokes while you're in the commentary booth.
I appreciate that, Grant. For that. I'll remember that little kindness.
So David's ball is just hanging over the hole here. Obviously, after a few pot reds here, Dhvaj will be looking to get that ball back into play in a usable position. So tomorrow we've got the start of the World Championships, Peter. A lot of work's gone into the preparation of these titles. A lot of people involved in the event. A lot of hours spent. Obviously, with the new governing body, the World Billiards. Obviously, Billiards Australia, major sponsors.
Look how tight he's got that behind the spot. But he has, in fact, kind of limited his approach now. He really has to take a couple of losers to get a red pot.
Interesting note, Dhvaj, he always spots at the back of the D for his hazards here. I've noticed that the last two times he's had ball in hand.
Yeah, it's oh, that's perfect. Look, it only took him one shot to get that right over the middle pocket. Right over. So this is about as tight at top as you're going to get them.
Yeah. So we've got 240-odd point deficit here with 19 minutes left. It's very doable with the balls in this position.
What do you think it takes? How long do you think it takes to make 100 at top if you're Dhvaj Haria?
Look, I think he's just as quick as a majority of the quicker players, such as Dave and Matthew, who do score quite quickly at top, around a 6-minute mark per 100. I think Dhvaj is just a tad slower. He'd probably about 7-minute mark. He doesn't think about the shots much, so we'll see how he goes here.
Perhaps he doesn't have to.
It's not very often these players are put under a lot of pressure to score quickly. So this will be the first time I've actually seen him put under a little bit of pressure. So that's going quite high there.
So he's going to come behind this for a recovery cannon with left-hand side, check side.
Yeah.
So behind the yellow, kick it back up. Didn't get as much of the yellow as he wanted there.
I think he landed too high on that last shot. And,
couldn't get it all. But now he's got the correcting cannon, push it back behind the spot, wick fine off the red and leave a pot red.
So these are tough little shots.
Very difficult.
To land high on the red, so he's played that right-hand side to roll off the red to leave high.
It hasn't worked, has it?
No.
Might have to go around the table.
So as we can see, under the pressure here, he's had to go around the table once, which isn't ideal for top of the table play. Luckily, he's landed quite straight on the red.
Could be pretty useful from tomorrow onwards, though, couldn't it?
It is, with the balk line crossing rule coming into play. For those viewers that aren't aware, the balk line crossing rule is a rule that's been in for a few years now. Basically, requires players to cross the balk line in between 80 and 100 points of each 100.
It was really introduced to break up the repetitive nature of this top of the table play, wasn't it? So that you couldn't just park here and create perhaps a bit more viewer interest, another challenge for the players to try and...
Yeah, and it does make the break quite
Negotiate.
interesting. You know, once the 80 mark does hit, to see how the players do negotiate the balk line crossing. There's a couple of different approaches. Most players tend to leave themselves low on a red and
67.
go around the balk off 2 or
Off
3
the pot.
cushions. Yeah.
69.
How did you find the conditions at Yarraville yesterday? Similar to this or different?
I was at RACV yesterday and played at Yarraville today. They weren't too bad at Yarraville actually. The tables are well looked after out there by the members. We had a great time out there today. We had 18 players for the plate event and everyone had a lot of fun.
You had more fun.
Oh look, yeah, I did. I was lucky enough to play young Joshua from Queensland, who's a great little
Yep.
player too. He's
Josh Hands.
yeah, he's got a
Yep.
good little cue action, and
79.
yeah, he's going to be a good little player.
He sure is. You can see a half ball already.
He can see a half ball already. Yeah. Very enthusiastic young kid, and very respectful to the players. Always comes up and says good day, shakes your hand. It's great to see some young kids playing the game.
Yeah. So mums and dads, if your kids are addicted to Fortnite and you want to get them into something else, give them a billiards addiction.
Yes, it's not the worst addiction out there for sports. It's a cheap sport to play.
Yep. Takes you to some great places.
It
You meet
does,
some
yeah.
lovely people. May have kicked that yellow up just a bit too high there.
Yeah.
You can negotiate it, get it back below the spot. You need to be, the way he's played that, you need to be very confident of your pace control. He's come right across the line that he needed to get there, and he stopped exactly in the right spot.
Yeah, that's
Not
a really
easy
good
to
shot
do.
there.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
These shots look really easy to probably some of the viewers at home that have played billiards. I guarantee you, if you actually went to your local club and tried to duplicate some of these shots these players are playing,
Yeah.
you'll find it very difficult.
Yeah. It's so precise and so minute. A fraction of a millimetre in a Q-tip position
Yeah.
makes all the difference.
105.
The other difference I think between billiards and snooker too is that every shot is a unique shot. The relationships between the balls all change because there are only 3 balls.
Yeah.
So in snooker, you've really only got to control the cue ball. You've got to hit an object ball, but that goes into the pocket.
Yeah.
So you don't worry about that after it's gone into the pocket. You don't need to control that. But here, he's just played a cannon where he's actually got to position all 3 balls. Nothing's gone into the pocket, so he's had to actually figure out the final leaving position of all 3 balls.
Yeah, and obviously the close proximity of
Yep.
all 3 balls too. You have to be well aware of what the balls are going to do once they've hit a cushion
Yep.
or another ball.
17.
There's obviously chances of smothers, etc. in billiards.
Yep. So he's actually thinking in 3 dimensions here.
Yeah. So he's leaved himself on the line here. It's quite difficult because the yellow is close to the potting angle for the red, so he doesn't want to push it up too much higher.
So Grant, do you think there's a type of person or a type of mind, if you like, which is suited to billiards? Do you think it's a mathematical type thing or a spatial thing or
That was a tough shot there, Pete.
did he graze that yellow?
Yeah, I think he did graze the yellow there. I think a creative mind more than anything, Peter. It's
Okay.
it's definitely
An artistic type thing?
it's I think you have to be a little bit creative in this game. Mathematics, yes, they definitely helps.
I mean, you've got to kind of be able to rotate 3D objects in your
Yeah,
mind, don't
yeah.
you? You've got to be able to figure out the relationships and the leaves of the balls. What follows what.
So we're up to 131 with this break. We've got 140 points
Well,
of
we've got a
difference.
match on.
We certainly do. We've got 12 minutes left, so it's plenty of time there.
Yep. Well, we said it was theoretically possible,
Yeah.
and he's halfway there.
So we're looking at pushing David's ball back below the spot here.
So what's in David's mind while he's sitting watching this? Miss, miss, miss?
Well, we were just talking about this today. There's not many sports in the world where you actually cannot, do much when your opponent's doing the damage. It's you just have to sit there and watch, keep your mind focused, and just wait for your next opportunity.
So what do you think about when you're sitting there? Are you following the balls, or are you meditating, or are you looking away, or?
Oh, look, for me personally, I try not to watch what the opponent's doing if I can help it. It obviously depends on who you're playing to. If you haven't had your hand on the table, if you are playing a good player, it can be handy to watch them and seeing how they're, utilising the pace of the table, etc., and playing certain shots. Me personally, I tend not to watch, Peter. So he's losing the opponent's ball a little bit there, so it'll be interesting to see how he regains the opponent's ball back below the spot here.
So he's effectively got to get on the left-hand side of the table as we look at it and play a cannon coming back would be the usual way, isn't it?
Yeah.
But not yet.
He wants a little
So
bit of
he's
angle
off
on
the
this
pot.
red here.
Yep. Don't think he's
So,
got
yeah,
it,
he's
which is
just
why
stood up.
a little
It's-
head waggle and not liking it.
It's quite straight, so he might elect
Plan
to just
B.
play a little bit safe here. Okay.
That did not work out.
No.
So he'll have to break up top of the table to score here.
So just switch camera angles there to see what he's faced with. So he's leaving himself a little in off the yellow here. And back to open play. Crucial shots for break building. Shots that he's just played there to leave the in-offs are very important and something the top players do quite well. And I think it actually separates the top players from the rest of us, Peter.
Yes.
Their ability to produce these little in-offs for their next shots.
Yes. That control in the open.
Yeah.
So 106 points to get. I don't think he can get there, Grant, unless he gets them back to top. If he's left playing in the open.
Look, he's still got
I don't
9
think
minutes
he's
there.
got time.
It's plenty of time.
In the open?
No,
9
well,
minutes, 9 minutes of losers?
Looking where the balls
don't
are,
think so.
I don't think he's got that many shots to get them back to top there. He's,
No, but assuming he can't get them to top,
yeah,
does he have enough time?
not at open play, no.
No. So really that has to be the priority, doesn't it? He's
Yeah.
really got to find...
So he wants this red
that
to
needs to come out.
straighten up a little
Needs
bit.
to come out. Okay, it's out, but it's not good.
So does he
it's
drag
got
this, does he? Yep.
Drag his
Little
check.
That's not ideal.
Well, so short Jenny, in off the red, find a red pot and leave a drop cannon. That
Yeah.
looks to be the sequence, doesn't it? The yellow's in position already. Step one.
I'm going to say he's got 2 minutes to get to the top of the table. If he can't get to the top of the table in 2 minutes, Peter, it's going to be a hard task to...
Yep. So he pushes red down towards the billiard spot area now to
Yep.
leave drop cannon.
And hopefully...
And it all comes down to this
comes
shot,
down to this shot, yeah.
what the position, what the leave is.
I heard a great commentator once call these a mini drop cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
earlier
short drop
today.
cannon. And that hasn't worked out. That's a classical cover. And a miss.
That's a great break, but unfortunately, going to be hard for Dhvaj to get back to the table here.
Well, yes. Now, I don't think David wants to disturb his ball stuck on the rail there. He'd have to... Oh, sorry, wrong ball.
2.
So I think Dave will just be keeping it simple here initially, just making sure the game is unreachable. That's a great pot.
The curious part is I don't think he'll slow down. You know, some players could be accused of getting in front and slowing down, but that isn't his natural rhythm. His natural rhythm is to keep them moving.
Yeah, and he's obviously the best exponent in the world of fast play. I mean, some of the scores that he reaches in certain time frames are just unbelievable.
Yeah. Statistically, he is the fastest player in the world with an average of all first-class matches of 820 points an hour.
Yeah.
Can you guess who the second fastest is?
Oh, from memory, I know Matthew Bolton.
Correct.
Heard that he had that
Correct.
title at one stage. And
Correct. Matt's about 620 to 640 an
yeah,
hour.
big difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
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 I do like my stats, Peter. I do.
I know
keep
you
up-
do, Grant, and I know you're very good at them. So, yeah, so David's, and just his style of play, you know, he's a first sider, first hitter,
Yeah.
one feather, and the more he's in, the faster he goes.
So David's left himself with a drop cannon here and see how he goes.
Yep. Kind of a reverse drop cannon, isn't it? He's got the
Yeah.
red as the high ball and the opponent as the low ball. Hard to see the angle from there.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
Yep.
He's just got to get a result here and leave it in off the white, possibly. No, okay.
Won't be happening.
It's a tricky pot red on
red pot.
this table. Look at the timber work on that table there, Peter. Isn't
I
it
know, it's
fantastic?
unbelievable. Tulip wood.
Yeah.
It's one of a kind. 140 years old. Allcocks. They just do beautiful work.
Yeah, tricky pot red there. He won't
So
be
we're
too
still
fussed.
not over. 4
No.
minutes. There's a point that you get to where there's only one solution, and it's a
Nursery cannons.
nursery cannons. It's the last resort.
Yeah, that's correct. And unfortunately, there's not many exponents of the nursery cannon these
Not many
days.
who can play them.
Yeah. I dare say Dave will be quite capable of playing nursery cannons. He's got fantastic
say.
touch. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're thinking the match, the streaming clock is not the official clock. So we're thinking there might be 6 minutes and 50 seconds left now. Yeah.
No, we tend not to run off the PC clocks that aren't that accurate. So we're going to rely on the clock inside the arena. So just disregard the clock on the screen there.
Either way.
Yep.
Right. Okay, yes, so there's a toilet break that's
Yeah.
not recorded in there. So there may still be time.
14.
Yeah. So we just one of the officials is just heading inside to get an update.
Confirm the time
the
clock.
time remaining, because obviously it's a crucial part of the game, and if there are indeed 8 minutes or so left, it's still reachable target.
He can't miss again though, can he?
No.
Any miss, and it's good
He
night.
wants this to pull up just a little bit. So
Needs to get inside the red to the yellow.
yeah. So this is a direct method at the top of the table here. He's
Yep.
tried to push that yellow ball below the spot. Not quite the best, but he'd be happy with that. It's still in a usable position here.
Yep, and he's coming in on the good side of the table, so
Yep.
he's coming in on the side the yellow is, so he gets a chance to push it further behind the spot at some stage.
So back in the top, underneath the red, underneath the yellow,
87,
leaving the pot red.
29,
Even smarter.
Yep. And be using the angle here to push yellow back below the spot.
Matt Bolton calls this one the correcting cannon, which I think is a nice, nice name for it.
It's a quite useful shot to have in your arsenal. That shot. So he needs just to slow down a little bit. He's got the angle there to come underneath the yellow again.
40,
So just have a look at the cue ball, what the cue ball's doing. He's got a little bit of sight on that.
42, 45,
So I think we're going to have an update soon. So we've got 3.5 minutes left on the clock.
47,
Okay, 61
61
points,
points
to
of
get.
difference.
Still possible.
It is possible, yeah.
50,
Yeah, there was a toilet break that David took, which wasn't recorded
So
in
there
the
we go,
live
ladies
stream.
and gentlemen. We've just been updated. There's roughly 3 minutes,
3 minutes
left now.
left.
And Dhvaj is still at the table. He's still 56 points behind with 3 minutes left.
He can see the clock there, so he knows what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So he's motoring,
60,
not wasting any time. Thought about
No.
reaching for his chalk, decided against it.
Yeah, he's definitely motoring. He knows he's got a task ahead here, and
Yeah.
he's put his head down and he's really
63.
focusing on the ball here.
65,
This feels like the final of the World Cup cricket
67,
and the Ashes, third test.
So he's lost
41 to
David-
get.
Yeah, he's lost David's ball a bit here, but he's got a reasonably easy pot here to keep the break going. And it'll be interesting to see what shot he plays here. If,
Dan, can we see the clock?
73, 75, 77,
so we're just trying to zoom in on the clock here.
Yeah.
That's a straight pot there. He's gonna, he might roll this one in. Okay,
He does.
so he's played the 6th shot there and gone back to the fork.
31 to get.
83,
1 minute 20 seconds.
So he's going to make the yellow ball travel here a bit, Peter.
Yeah, that's going to waste time.
So he wants this to speed up a touch. It's too short.
85,
Yeah. Cannon
Maybe.
off the cushion.
Yeah, be rolling a little bit of luck on the red here. Contact. Doesn't come below the red too much like that.
Like that. So
And
now they're spread apart. It's going to take more time to recover them to back together. But he's,
So he's
he's on the
gonna
trot.
take-
Pot yellow.
yeah.
Look at that. He's just said, I'm going to take reds, reds, reds.
89,
So let's see how he goes here. He's definitely a great potter.
That's a great pot. Come up too high. Got to go in off.
That's fine.
92,
Grandstand finish here, Peter, I think. So,
Well, he doesn't want to be playing losers. Pots are faster.
yeah.
95,
I can see David in the background there just
Yeah.
looking at the clock and
Yeah, these are too slow. He needs to get onto the red spot. Drill a couple of stun pots.
98,
Again, he'll have to come around off 2 cushions, 3 cushions.
that's it.
And time. Oh, just a great finish.
10 points of difference in the final of the World Open.
Great finish.
7 points of difference. That's fantastic.
As they say, and the crowd goes wild.
That's a great crowd there, Peter. It's,
It is a great crowd. But, you know, definitely we've got some idiots in the South Front Island. Why not? You've got really apparently the two best players in the world. Puntos might tend to argue with that at a certain point in the coming week, but the two form players, you'd have to say, Dhvaj and David. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're off to a presentation, a couple of quiet drinks, Grant, and a bit of a nosh, so that sounds good to me.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
the
Dan.
coverage.
Cheers.
On a Monday night. It's brilliant.
You said sign him up on Monday night.
I know, I said closer finishes on Monday night. I looked at the results. It's made my time. Well, no, I knew it was 5 minutes, but someone told me that what was different actually. Was it extra?
Yes. No, only English players here this week. There is a world championship usually held in Sheffield. This is the first time since 2034 it's been in Australia. It's been in England. Was only invented